All right, we're looking at Carvana here, and I just want to talk as this is going because history does seem to repeat itself, or at least it rhymes. So when I'm holding the crosshairs over here, I just want to be pointing out this apex of this falling wedge. And hopefully you've noticed I put a different picture up here. The other picture I used to have for a falling wedge almost made it seem that these things just fly straight out of their wedges. But I'm going to talk about that a little bit in here of why something would break out and then come back and test that previous resistance. So let's just take a look at this here. It's getting so tight inside this wedge. And right there, that just looks like an amazing setup at that point as it gets tight. And you can see right after that, that breakout was really good. And we saw that this week as well. Unfortunately, it happened in pre-market. So when you see that breakout, what can be frustrating with sometimes these falling wedges, and especially one that's steep like this, you just have to think for weeks, traders have been able to make some really good money on shorting this down. Shorting this sentiment has been pretty bad, and some shorts got caught up in here. You can see that the high wick here is some shorts trying to continue to show their power over this and get out. And then you can see right in here, after it broke out, they're trying to bring this all the way back down here again for support resistance retest. And so that push is definitely there. It doesn't just fly straight up all the time. So if we take a peek back up here, you can see they're trying to pull that back down. And so after a bullish breakout, this is a pretty decent chance to kind of look for an entry on calls. I don't look for puts at this point because that's a bullish breakout. And you can see right here, there were opportunities where that broke back up. When it breaks back up, we're trying to find consolidation. But you can see how some traders would have gotten really frustrated with this. This ended up paying really big. You can see up here on calls in the near term future, but a lot of people got just so sick and bored and tired of this, even though the setup was looking good. You can see right here pulling back down, and then watch, pretty soon it's going to be breaking out of this as well and retesting that demand zone. So right here, this is a pretty good sign right there, and you can see that breakout, and then don't be surprised when you see that consolidation. Where did I get that from? Over here. You can see for almost 2 weeks, it was trading tight inside that zone. So we're looking at this here. We're trying to stay neutral. We're saying, okay, if it breaks to the downside, I might go with puts. But this is a bullish breakout, and then it's back in this zone. So I'm leaning towards calls. Of course, we've got the benefit of seeing the future here. But if it would break out from this right here, you can even put a stop buy, boom, right there, and you're in, because you can see once it breaks out from that zone, that's a very long move. Now we're looking for possible resistance. I'm just kind of hovering here at about 57, and you can see that's overextended, pulls back down, and you can see right in here, now we're starting to form another falling wedge. Right. And it's tight again inside that apex. And so on Friday, we saw that it started to sit right outside here. And so this is when it really started to catch my eye, because it had broken out just like it had done before. And so the move was, if it broke above that 45.44, then we were going to be able to play that. However, the move happened in pre-market. And so I just want to point this out. I'm going to let this play out here for the last couple of days so we can just kind of talk about all of these candles from this week. Pre-market right here ended up coming and hitting that resistance. So we shouldn't be surprised when they're selling at resistance. It was support right here, and it became resistance right here. But a pre-market move is low volume. So the shorts love to pop in on this and short it down. What we wanted to see was for this move to break out during market hours with real volume. That's why we're seeing a really strong sell. Now, yesterday I was looking at this thinking, okay, it held support right there. I'm encouraged this might be just a minor pullback. However, if somebody got in on calls right there, if your thesis was to get in on calls above that 45.44, then your stop is underneath that 45.44. At least that's what it is for me. My stop is always on the other side of my thesis. So now let's come down here to this demand zone. What was resistance is now serving as support. It could break down in this demand zone again, and I would think that it'd be chopping for a bit at that point. What would be great is if it actually served this as support and if we started to see a bounce, because this is a bullish breakout and we have bullish eyes on this. I'm not looking to short this. If the macro goes down, there's going to be some other charts that are going to favor a further downside move. So I hope this picture makes sense. We don't always see an inverse head and shoulders, but the whole point is when it breaks out, it hits resistance, comes back, finds support, and hopefully we can see a launch.